Once upon a time, in the grand kingdom of Degar, there ruled a wise and generous king, Samrat. He was known across the land for his kindness. Every morning, as the first light of dawn hid the sky, he rode through the street in his royal chariot, carrying food for the needy. He fed the stray animals, helped the poor, and ensured that no traveler or beggar went to sleep hungry. People admired him, calling him the guardian of the helpless. One day, as the king was feeding the streets, his cunning minister Andheron said, "Your Majesty, without you, these creatures have nothing. You are their sole provider. Without your generosity, they would suffer." The king nodded slightly at the praise. Just then, a wandering sage named Rishabh, sitting nearby, let out a soft chuckle. Surprised, the king turned to him and asked, "O wise one, what amuses you?" The sage replied calmly, "Your minister's word, O king. The truth is, it is not you who sustains them, but the great force of the universe. We are mere vessels. The true giver is beyond us. When we give, it should be out of love, not pride. Love is the language that all beings." Though the king remained silent, the sage's words unsettled him. Did this sage think his generosity was useless? His pride was wounded. Determined to prove the sage wrong, the king decided to stop feeding anyone the next day. At dawn, he set out with his chariot filled with food, but he did not offer a single morsel to the hungry animals or the poor. Stray dogs followed his chariot, their eyes filled with hope. He ignored them. Days passed, and the wonderful animals grew weak. The streets became eerily quiet as the desperate souls wandered in search of food. One morning, the king saw the same sage sitting by the roadside. With a triumphant smirk, he stopped his chariot and said, "Look, I have not fed these creatures for days. See how weak they have become? Does this not prove that I was the one providing for them, not your so-called unseen force?" The sage smiled and asked, "Tell me, your majesty, have you noticed how these creatures have survived despite your efforts?" The king scoffed. "Survived? They are barely alive. A few more days without food, and they will perish." The sage nodded and replied, "Life and death are beyond our control. If suffering is their fate, so be it. Remember, true kindness is not about helping oneself. It is about giving without expecting anything in return." The king clenched his fists. He would prove the sage wrong. The next morning, as always, he rode out with a chariot full of food. Fate had other plans. Midway, one of the wheels of his chariot broke. The vehicle tumbled, and the king fell hard to the ground. His food baskets scattered, spilling grain and fruits all around him. In pain, he saw the stray dogs rushing toward him. For a moment, fear gripped him. Would they attack him in desperation? To his shock, the dogs did not touch the